No brainer, right? It is supposedly common sense. Is your blender not giving you a very smooth silky texture even after running it for a reasonable amount of time? If it is so, I will give a little bit of science and a tip how to make any blender to blend much smoother than it is capable of or you think it is capable of. Now there will be differences in blenders, but this tip will apply to any blender whether it is a powerful blender or not. It is supposedly common sense. Either we ignore it or do not know the impact of it completely or just be plain careless about it. And therefore we make mistakes and we don't make the best out of the blender. The example I showed is an extreme one to just prove the point. When you pour in the liquid in the blender, the entire liquid as required per the recipe, then when the blender is processing, the solids are thrown away all around the jar. So there is no resistance and the blender is not able to blend the solids powerfully as it is capable of. This happens both in high-speed blenders and in regular blenders. The effect is still there. Blades need a resistance when they are trying to cut. In the example that you saw, the hazelnut was having water below that and the water is not providing any resistance. So however hard I tried to cut the hazelnut using the blades, it was not able to cut it. But the moment I put the hazelnut on the cutting board, you saw it was very easy to cut it with my Victorinox blade. To apply this principle to the blenders, when you add ingredients as per the recipe in the blender, first add the solids and then add liquid, so much so that it is just above the solids, and then process it until the solids are fairly ground. Once they are fairly ground, then you start adding little by little the liquids until the desired quantity of water has been added fully. This is when the blender is able to do its best in terms of using the resistance and the power of the motor is being utilized fully. To prove the point, recently when I wanted to make a smoothie, I discarded the high-speed blender that I normally use and just used the hand blender. Using the hand blender, applying this technique, I was able to make a smoothie that was perfectly acceptable. I wouldn't hesitate to use this hand blender to make recipes or smoothies in future if needed. It's a different point that I would still prefer the high-speed blender because I find that it is much more easier to clean than this hand blender. But anytime needed, I know that my hand blender will also be able to do the smoothies just about nearly as well as the smoothie in the high-speed blender. It will give acceptable results. The second point is, do not try to blend small quantities in a blender. The same principle applies. The ingredients will throw around all around in the blender and it will not have any kind of resistance. So you need to ensure there is a certain minimum quantity as per the size of the jar. I would say a rough thumb rule could be about 1/5 of the jar should be the minimum quantity of ingredients that you add in a blender. So friends, I hope this video was useful to you. It is supposedly common sense, but I gave you the tip and the process how the technique can be used. The concept can be used. You know it already, I just wanted to highlight it so that you apply it now consciously. Please share the video within your network if you think it is beneficial to others, whether they follow raw food diet or not. This is a general principle that is useful to anyone. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. Please do click on the like button if you think the video was good and entertaining. Leave your comments if any. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day or evening, whatever is left. Bye bye.